Imagine waking up in the morning without that desperate rush to the bathroom. No interruptions in the middle of the night, no uncomfortable feeling that there's still something there, even after you've urinated. Sound like a distant dream? For millions of men over 50, it's a daily reality, but it doesn't have to be yours. I'm going to tell you something that not many people know, and which may sound counterintuitive. The size of your prostate can be directly influenced by your diet. And no, I'm not talking about miracle diets or magic capsules. I'm talking about real food, the kind you eat every day thinking it's all right. A study published in the British Journal of Nutrition revealed that by eliminating certain inflammatory foods, it is possible to reduce the size of the prostate by up to 54%. Yes, more than half. That's more than many invasive treatments promise, and with no side effects. But why doesn't anyone talk about it? Because it's too simple to seem true. Because it's more profitable to sell drugs than to teach the power of broccoli. And because changing habits requires something that pharmacies can't sell, discipline. By the way, take advantage of this moment. Comment down here from where you're watching. It's always good to know how far this message is reaching. And if you have any questions throughout the video, leave them in the comments and I'll make sure to answer as many as I can, okay? But if you've made it this far, you're ready. Ready to turn the key, understand what's sabotaging your health from the inside, and make conscious decisions. After all, what's the point of living longer if you're stuck in a bathroom? In this video, I'll guide you through the 9 foods you need to cut out now, and I'll also show you the best alternatives for regaining your freedom, your sleep, and your quality of life. It may sound simple, but that's exactly where the hidden secret lies. And check it out. If this topic makes sense to you, click on the like button below. This helps the video reach more people who also need to know about it. And of course, subscribe to the channel to keep up with the latest content on men's health. Many people have no idea, but what you put on your plate could be sabotaging your prostate health without you even realizing it. You know that juicy red meat at Sunday lunch? Well, studies show that frequent consumption of red meat is directly linked to the worsening of benign prostatic hyperplasia, BPH. This is because they increase the production of inflammatory hormones in the body. The problem isn't eating meat once in a while, it's the habit. When meat becomes a routine, the body responds with swelling, inflammation, and urinary urgency. But it's not just barbecue that's in the crosshairs. Dairy products are also on the red list. Whole milk, yellow cheeses, and yogurts full of sugar seem innocent, but they carry a saturated fat bomb that feeds silent inflammatory processes. And as a result, the prostate swells, puts pressure on the bladder, and turns your nights of sleep into a veritable barrage of trips to the bathroom. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition showed that men who consume high levels of dairy products have a higher risk of developing severe urinary symptoms. Coincidence? Not at all. Now take a deep breath, because here come the sneakiest villains. Processed foods. Those little packets that seem practical in everyday life, sausages, snacks, canned goods, are loaded with sodium, preservatives, and chemical additives that unbalance the body. They silently inflame. And do you know what happens to a constantly inflamed body? The prostate feels it, it starts to swell, and every week the urge to urinate seems to increase a little more. Have you ever experienced this? And finally, a blow that many people don't even notice. Refined sugars, cakes, sweets, soft drinks. These products spike insulin levels and encourage the accumulation of abdominal fat, which in turn increases the conversion of testosterone into estrogen, one of the pathways to prostate enlargement. That's right, that sweetie could be sweetening the problem. Did you already know this? Comment down here with a word that sums up what caught your eye. It could be barbecue, dairy, refined. I'll read all the comments. The good news is that all this can be adjusted with more conscious choices. And in the next topic, I'll show you what really causes urinary urgency, which is one of the most annoying symptoms for BPH sufferers. If there's one thing that frustrates any man, it's that feeling of a full bladder all the time, even after you've been to the toilet. It's as if the body is always on alert, as if something is wrong, and it is. Urinary urgency is one of the most common signs of BPH, and what few people know is that certain drinks are real silent triggers. Let's start with caffeine. Coffee, black tea, energy drinks. They all stimulate the nervous system and directly irritate the bladder. The result? They increase the frequency and intensity of trips to the bathroom, especially at night. You might think, oh, but I only drink 1 cup a day. But for those who already have an enlarged prostate, a single cup can be enough to cause a real domino effect in the urinary system. And it doesn't stop there. Alcohol, especially beer at the weekend, is a powerful diuretic. In other words, it increases urine production and relaxes the bladder's detrusor muscle, making it harder to control. The result? You feel the urge more often and are less able to hold it in. This directly affects sleep, mood, and even quality of life. Now, I'll pay special attention to soft drinks. They're like the combo of chaos. They have caffeine, excess sugar, and phosphoric acid, a substance that can further irritate the bladder and alter urinary pH. In addition, many of them are carbonated, which can cause abdominal distension and further increase the pressure on the bladder already compressed by the prostate. A study by Johns Hopkins University showed that men who consume soft drinks frequently have almost double the risk of experiencing moderate to severe urinary symptoms. And most men don't even realize that the root of the problem could be their lunchtime drink. That's why a simple action such as reducing or eliminating these drinks can bring huge relief, and quickly. I myself have seen cases of improvement in less than 15 days with this adjustment alone. Instead of coffee, you could try chicory or soluble barley. And for alcohol, invest in non-alcoholic fermented drinks such as kombucha. Now that you know what aggravates urinary urgency, it's time to understand what really causes inflammation in the prostate. And then the hole is deeper. Many men live in a silent cycle of discomfort, pelvic pain, a constant urge to urinate and the feeling that they have never emptied their bladder completely. This may not just be a consequence of aging, but of chronic inflammation in the prostate. And guess who's fueling this fire inside? The food we put on our plates every day. One of the main culprits is saturated fat, bacon, fried food, fast food, that generous butter in the frying pan. All of this causes an inflammatory cascade that makes the prostate even more sensitive and swollen. But it doesn't stop there. Very acidic foods, such as industrialized tomato-based sauces, aggressive vinegars, excessive citrus fruits, such as lemons and oranges, can also irritate the prostate tissues, especially when there is already BPH or prostatitis. I'm not telling you to radically cut out everything, but to understand your body. I've seen men who eliminated tomato sauce from their dinner and within a week reported less pressure when urinating. Science confirms it. Local inflammation is directly linked to food acidity and the oxidative stress it causes. And there's another group that deserves attention: spicy foods. Yes, that hot pepper in your beans or the Mexican sauce you had on Saturday night may be causing more damage than pleasure. Chili peppers increase local blood flow and can cause a burning sensation in the urethra, especially in those who already have an enlarged prostate. Studies published in the International Journal of Urology suggest that spicy foods are among the main aggravators of urinary symptoms in men over 50. And between you and me, nobody wants to be stuck in the bathroom because of a spicy meal, do they? To round off this inflammatory combo, processed meats, canned goods, and industrialized products rich in preservatives. These foods not only inflame the prostate, they also make it difficult to absorb essential nutrients that would help fight it. It's like pouring water on a ship and covering the holes with newspaper. It doesn't work. The good news: there are healthy, tasty, and anti-inflammatory substitutions that can transform your routine. And that's exactly what we're going to look at in the next topic. Because yes, you can eat well, protect your prostate, and still enjoy every meal. Now that you know what to avoid, it's time to talk about the good stuff. What to put on your plate to protect and even help reduce the size of your prostate. Nature, wise as ever, offers us foods with anti-inflammatory and protective powers. Let's start with cruciferous vegetables: broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, and Brussels sprouts. These foods contain sulforaphane, a substance that, according to studies by Harvard Medical School, helps to detoxify the body and protect prostate cells from abnormal growth. And the best part, they are affordable, easy to prepare, and go well with almost everything. Red fruits are also worth mentioning: Strawberries, blackberries, raspberries, blueberries. These little natural gems are rich in antioxidants such as vitamin C and flavonoids, which combat oxidative stress, one of the triggers of prostate inflammation. Incorporating a portion of these fruits into your breakfast or afternoon snack can be a simple step with a huge impact. I've had patients replace soda with water with chopped strawberries, and as well as being better hydrated, they noticed less urinary urgency in less than a month. Coincidence? I'd say it's a direct result of food intelligence. Another powerful swap is whole grains. Brown rice, oats, quinoa and seeds, such as linseed and chia, help regulate hormones and improve intestinal transit. And yes, this has a direct influence on prostate health. A stuck bowel can put pressure on the bladder and worsen urinary symptoms. Have you thought about that? In addition, these foods maintain satiety for longer and help with weight control, another essential factor in keeping the prostate in balance. In fact, the Brazilian Society of Urology points out that obese men have an increased risk of prostate complications. Eating well is also a way of preventing them. Finally, we mustn't forget good fats. Extra virgin olive oil, avocados, nuts and fish rich in omega-3 such as salmon and sardines help reduce inflammatory processes throughout the body, including in the prostate. Including a spoonful of raw olive oil in your salad or a handful of nuts in the afternoon may seem small, but it's a powerful step for your health. And here's a piece of advice from a mentor. Don't wait until you feel pain or discomfort to start changing. Prevention starts at the plate. And speaking of changing habits, in the next topic, I'll show you how your lifestyle can be the deciding factor in your prostate health. You can have the best diet in the world, full of vegetables, fruit, and good fats. But if your body is at a standstill, progress is also stalled. And when it comes to an enlarged prostate, a sedentary lifestyle is almost fuel for the problem. Physical activity, however simple, has a direct impact on hormone regulation, blood circulation, and reducing inflammation. A 30-minute walk every day is enough to stimulate the metabolism, reduce the accumulation of abdominal fat, and reduce pressure on the prostate. And it's not motivational talk, it's science. European Urology published a study showing that active men have up to 25% fewer urinary symptoms. You might be asking yourself, but I'm 60, 70 years old, and is there still time? Yes, there is. In fact, it's at this stage of life that the body most needs movement to keep its functions in balance, and you don't have to become an athlete. Stretching, water aerobics, taking the stairs instead of the elevator, it all counts. The secret lies in constancy. When the body moves, testosterone regulates, estrogen decreases, and the prostate responds with less swelling. What's more, you gain more energy, less pain, and a better night's sleep. Maintaining a healthy weight is also one of the most underestimated keys to prostate health. Excess visceral fat, the kind that accumulates in the belly, produces inflammatory substances such as interleukin-6 and TNF-alpha, which stimulate prostate growth. In other words, that little belly that seems harmless could be behind your discomfort when urinating. I've seen men who, by losing 5 to 7 kilos through dietary re-education and light walking, have significantly reduced their BPH symptoms without medication, just a change of habit. This isn't a miracle. It's biology working in your favor. Now, if you want a really effective combo, combine exercise, diet, and a good night's sleep. Poor sleep affects hormones, reduces melatonin production, and increases cortisol, which worsens inflammation. So take care of your body as a whole. Your prostate is not an isolated part. It responds to the whole. And if you've made it this far, congratulations. But there's more. Now that you know the 5 essential pillars, it's time to tie everything together with a powerful introduction. And then, of course, a conclusion that will make you think and act. You've come this far, and that already shows something important. You care about your health. And more than that, you want change. Now that you know the foods that may be sabotaging your prostate and the choices that really make a difference, the decision is in your hands. You may be thinking, does it really work? And the answer is simple. There's only one way to find out. By testing. Give your body a chance. Reduce the villains on your plate, start including natural health allies, and watch the results. Your sleep may improve, urinary urgency may decrease, and, most importantly, you may regain your quality of life without having to rely exclusively on medication. Now I want to know, which of these changes are you going to try first? Cut down on coffee? Switch from red meat to whole grains? Let me know in the comments. Your experience could help other men who are also going through this. And tell me, have you ever experienced any of these symptoms? How do you deal with it on a daily basis? If this content made sense to you, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell. That way you'll continue to receive practical, science-based tips that can transform your health from the inside out.